filming now.
Yo, what is up guys, and welcome to our 500k subscriber special today. We're doing something completely different. As you can see, we're back in a go-kart, but a bit of a different one this time. We are in a superkart. First time in my life, I'm gonna be driving one of these bad boys around Assen. For the people who don't know, Assen is quite a big track, MotoGP track as well. There was even some discussion that at the time when Zandvoort was coming back that Assen was a better track to drive on, but didn't end up happening. So MotoGP track, and we're gonna be driving it in a superkart. So yeah, this is gonna be nuts. Did 2 practice sessions and a qualifying. Unfortunately, we only finished an out lap and a warm-up lap in qualifying. That's some kind of engine issue. So we're starting down in P45, if I remember correctly. So yeah, we got some work to do here in the race. Now you might be thinking, whoa, P45 is super far back. That's like last place, right? No, there's actually 60 people competing in this race. Absolutely nuts. And there's some incredibly good drivers competing as well today here in Assen. I think European champion competing, if my mind serves me correctly. But yeah, rolling start, simply due to the fact that first gear is so long that you will burn out the clutch. Yeah, these things are just not made for a standing start. So rolling start into turn number 1, P45, and yeah, we are not really in our position, as you can see. We are going to be overtaking so many people in this opening lap. This almost felt a little bit like an F1 open lobby with no assist in the wet. Like, I was just passing people everywhere. So yeah, somewhat struggling here a little bit. I'm not sure. I think he might have had some issue. But yeah, these are really interesting things. If you come out of a corner, for example, and you floor the throttle, you'll flood the engine, and it will literally stall. Like, you have to be super careful on throttle. You have to be really high revs as well, which, as we move up another position, which is quite common for KZ cards. But if you're below, I think 10 or 9.5k RPM, again, the engine will just stall, even if you keep putting throttle. It's really interesting. So yeah, still making quite a bit of moves here on the opening lap. I think by the end we had overtaken like 20 people, 15, 20 people. I'm not sure exactly. So yeah, that was a great opening lap, making up for our DNF in qualifying. As now we're gonna get one more move into the final corner. No idea in what position I am, because this is not like a game. You can't just see mid-race what position you're in. Sometimes there's timing towers next to the track where you can see where you are if you're in the top 10. Yeah, if you're so far down, you have no idea where you are. So let's see if we can get a move here on number 54, which we seem to be able to get into this long right-hander. Almost 2, but now that turns to the outside for the next one. And yeah, you're about to see number 28 is gonna absolutely destroy us on the straight. Yeah, obviously this was, you know, I just rented an engine because I'd never done this before. I don't have my own card, rented my card. And yeah, it was lacking a little bit. We were also overweight, I'm not gonna lie. I decided 1 week before this race that I was gonna drive. And the minimum weight is 65 kilos with helmet and suit. And yeah, I'm 186 centimeters, 6'2", and yeah, I'm basically 90 kilos with a helmet and suit. So we are 20 to 25 kilos overweight, more or less. Plus the fact that we do not seem to have a great engine here. And you will see that throughout the video. We're going to be really struggling on the straights. You can see how much we've just made up in that one braking zone. But then every time we enter a straight, it just seems to disappear. But it doesn't matter, because that's only going to make this video even more sick. Because we're going to be in the midfield the whole time. And it's going to be action-packed. Now we're behind number 12. We're still behind number 54 as well. As I'm trying to get to the inside of number 12. Yeah, I kept taking this tight line and it seemed to work quite well, especially for overtakes. And I think it also helped that some people were just struggling a little bit with the G-force through that corner, which sent them even wider, and then we could just slip down the inside. So, yeah, another position made, and we have lost it again on the next straight. And it's actually quite a lot of long corners. It's a typical MotoGP track. But I was surprised by how much dirty air you still get. Obviously, you've got some bodywork, a rear wing, got a bit of front bodywork as well. Don't really want to call it a front wing, but you get the point. As we're now getting moved on number 55, and number 29 is getting down on it. So I think number 29 is quite a fast driver. I think he had an incident somewhere in the opening lap. But yeah, he was, I think, a top 5 driver. So, yeah, let's see if we can follow him through a little bit. We cannot follow him really on the straight. And this is the coolest corner on the track. This one is so sick. Honestly, it might not look that fast because a supercar is relatively small to the track we're driving on. So I was getting frustrated by how slow we were on acceleration there. Yeah, it might not look that fast because we're relatively small, but top speed is 240 kph. We're not even close to reaching that. I think the highest we reached all weekend was 221, but there were people reaching 240. And the lap time, Formula Renault was driving here as well this weekend. The pole lap time was only 3 seconds slower than Formula Renault. Formula Renault, actually it's called different these days. It's Formula Regional or Euro Cup, Formula Euro Cup. I'm not sure what it's called. It's changed so many times, but you get the point. Formula Euro Cup is, I think, only like 5 seconds a lap slower than an F3 car. So the pace we're doing is insane in such small things. But yeah, that corner is 220 kph. That's where we reached top speed. Still behind number 54. This is actually a great battle. But yeah, again, losing a lot on the straight. So let's see if we can maybe go for a move in a double right-hander. If we can get a good run here through turn number 1. Down to 3rd gear or 4th gear. You can use both. 3rd gear on all the tires, 4th on new tires. And again, you can see taking that tighter line, closing in a little bit, but that's not going to be anywhere near enough. Down to 1st gear again. And this one. Yeah, a little bit of a moment there. We lost 5 positions again. So we got some work to do again, unfortunately. But yeah, this was my first race, first time fully pushing for, I think the race was 20 minutes. Started on new tires. I just didn't expect the tires to go off that much. Maybe we didn't start on new tires, but I think I used the set of tires that we used in quali, but only then an outlap and a warm-up lap on them. But yeah, I was surprised by how much the tires went off. Obviously, in normal shifter cars, the tires go off a lot as well. But I'd expected that these tires were going to be a lot harder because of the speeds we're reaching. But they're not really. The tire drop off from new to, you know, 1 session old, I think it's like 1.5, 2 seconds, which is a lot for only 15-20 minute driving. So yeah, just giving a heads up that there's someone going really slowly ahead. Yeah, there's quite a big pace difference between the top 20 drivers and the bottom 20, bottom 10. It's just borderline dangerous with how the speed difference is. But yeah, again, really in the slipstream there into turn 1, but can't really close in. But we break it on later. We got a blue flag card on the outside there as well, and another position gain. Now we just need to try and keep this. But we got another big straight coming up. It seems like we managed to keep it into turn 1. Another blue flag here. And yeah, we're gonna go down the inside, break it on later. Another position gained. And you can see there actually on my icon, it keeps you a little bit up to date on what's going on. There's this yellow flag, and I think even a red flag here. And I think that was due to a car being stranded in quite a dangerous position. So yeah, that was the end of the race. And yeah, we finished that race in P25. So I think 20 positions gained, which is not too shabby. Everyone was a little bit lost on where to go here. But yeah, not too shabby for a first race. Bit of a shame that we had a little spin, but back to my Micron story. That just keeps you up to date with the lap times, RPM, water temperature, what lap you're in, and gear as well. But the gear doesn't seem to work that well. It's your 6th gear most of the time. But yeah, first race done, P25, and that means we're going to be starting P25 for the next race as well. Actually, we finished P24, my bad. So we're going to be starting P24, and let's see what we can do in the second race. New tires again. You might be thinking, why new tires again? It's just because people can use unlimited new tires in this series. And yeah, you need it, because the difference between new and old tires is massive. But race 2 is underway. Let's see what we can do here into turn number 1. We passed one car, but I think we got overtaken by another one as well. We go all the way around the outside to try and get a better run, but someone went off in front of me. And yeah, another late move down the inside. I think we're going to gain more positions. That's maybe 3, 4, 5 positions, I think so, that we gained going down the inside here. And then it turns to the outside for the next left-hander, but we managed to keep the momentum going. And again, we got number 54 right there. Really looking around. Obviously, we don't have mirrors, and you kind of need to be looking around a little bit to check if there's no one around you, so you don't have to cut them off and cause a huge crash. Because obviously, going 230 kph, if there is an incident, it's gonna be massive. And yeah, it's obviously very dangerous. So, still trying to find a way past number 54. We're gonna go down the inside on the next right and the downshift to second. Usually it's third gear, but yeah, we just needed to get down an extra gear to get the power coming out of the corner. And now we get a long run down this straight up to a flat-out left-hander. In dirty air, it might get a little bit tricky. You can see we had to lift a little bit because the rear end was really stable, and now we go down the inside straight away into the last chicane, down to second gear. Again, an extra one down to get the power out of the corner as we had a tighter line, couldn't carry the momentum. Into turn 1 we go. Just looking around to see if there is anyone around me, but we got a clear run through turn number 1. You might be wondering why the camera changed a little bit. I was using a camera on top of my helmet for the first and the last race, and for the second race I was using a visor cam, so this is inside my visor. Okay, yeah. Let's see number 8 ahead of us. We're going to be fighting more with him throughout this race and I think the next race as well. And yeah, you will notice the further we get to the front, the more of a struggle the engine and the overweight's going to be. You're going to be really noticing the pace loss we got. The straight we were just on, I checked data with one of our teammates who had his own engine, which was, I guess, better tuned and whatever. But just on that straight we lost 1.2 seconds, and that's just one straight, so you can imagine it's gonna be 4 or 5 seconds overlap. But it doesn't matter too much because there was such a spread of pace throughout the grid that we were always somehow capable of finding someone to fight with. And And yeah, we also, in all races, had a great start, which meant sometimes we were a little bit out of position. We were too far up front for our pace. So yeah, that kind of made it more fun. You can see how much we lost on that straight. It's so long flat out. I think you're flat out for half a minute. And on some go-kart tracks, like normal go-kart tracks, half a minute is a whole lap. So yeah, it's crazy. These supercars driving on proper, car tracks. I think we still got number 8 ahead of us. We're still trying to find our way through into the next right hand that we're gonna go. See if we can go down the inside. And you see it's gone wide again. We're gonna take a tighter line. We're just gonna turn to the outside for the next left-hander, but we got to move on before we even got to the hairpin. Now the question is, can we stay ahead on this next straight? That's the question. And that's gonna be answered very soon. See, we've done a 39.6. which I think thus far was our PB. Unfortunately, we got past the gun. And he had so much overspeed, unfortunately. And I was pushing so hard, nearly lost the backhand there through that right-hander. And yeah, through the next right-hander. Again, a little bit of dirt here. But managed to stay relatively close. But by the time we get to the last corner, just remember how the gap is now. We got slipstream coming up, and the gap is just gonna be so massive by the end of this straight, unfortunately. But yeah, at the moment we're clearly the fastest driver. This has made it so fun trying to fight against someone who's so much faster. So they're actually getting past here, double past. I decided to kind of let these two guys go because going side by side there at 220, 230 kph. A little bit risky, and if I had the feeling I would have been able to stay ahead, I would have 100% go side by side and fight it, but I just didn't have the facilities at the time. So yeah, a few positions lost now, and we're gonna lose another one to number 54 again. It's number 54 getting past us again. We were next to him in race 1 a lot of time as well, and now he's got the passes again. So yeah, 39.6 I think is our PB at the moment. Let's see if we can maybe next race get into the 38s. That would be really nice. Now you might be wondering what was the fastest time of the weekend. I think Paul was a 134, 134.3. So yeah, we're still quite far away from that 4 seconds, but yeah, with our acceleration and straight line speed, we're never going to be able to get anywhere close to that. But I'm not going to lie, I enjoyed this weekend so much. I told myself before heading into this, I was only going to do this once in my life, but I enjoyed this weekend so much that I'm kind of considering buying a supercar myself, buying an engine and getting it tuned properly so I can compete again next year with a better engine. Get a little bit on weight as well, or at least lose a little bit of weight. So yeah, this is one of the sickest experiences I've ever done, and probably the coolest thing I've ever raced in. As we're still trying to find our way past number 54, coming out of the hairpin, and again we got no chance. I actually hit the soft limiter there. I think if you hire an engine from a tuner, I think you put some kind of soft limits on it, because I heard from one of the people, one of our teammates that I compared data to as well, they were managing to upshift at 14.1 RPM, and I just wasn't capable. So I'm not sure if that has anything to do with it. Actually, we managed to get past number 54 there due to traffic, blue flag traffic, and yeah, blue flag traffic. I think they don't have to really move out of the way. They just have to be, sensible. Although some of the people on the grid were not very experienced and a little bit slow, not really aware of their surroundings, so you really had to be careful with some of the back markers. So that was a little extra challenge. There we go again in the dirt share. We're gonna brake so much later down the inside, and I think that might have been a blue flag card. So across the line we go for one more lap. Not sure if that's a blue flag card again. Yellow flags in turn 1. So yeah, someone's gone off there. Still behind number 54. We need to get past, but then we got re-overtaken again through the long right hand. There we go. We're gonna go tight here, which might give us the position. We set up the exit, but there's yellow flags, and yeah, there was a car to the marshals on the outside there, so had to be careful. And yeah, just drive a little bit to the limit. So green flags again. Going to the next right hand there, but there's some traffic coming up, and this might give us the opportunity on the number 54. We got a good run, tried to get some clean air on our nose to the left hander. We managed to get past the blue flag card, but we're starting to run out of time. We got a long straight coming up as well, which is not going to be an overtaking opportunity for us. So we're going to have to do it somewhere before, and we're gonna go down the inside, but there's yellow flags unfortunately, so we cannot get the move done. And yeah, looks like we have run out of time. So yeah, one final time through, I think this fast left-hander is called Rubenholz. I might be wrong, I'm not even sure, but it's a hell of a sick corner. It's GOKART. And yeah, into the final corner we go. We're gonna bring it home in P19 for the second race. So we have gone from P24 to P19. Not too shabby. But for the final race, I hope we can get a few more again. So yeah, fastest lap in that race was a 1:35.2. Whereas I did a fastest lap of 39.1 actually. So let's see if we can improve that for the final race. We yeah, just managed to get P19 there, P19, and yeah, not too shabby, but we want more. And let's see if we can get another great start. It would be nice to at least run in the top 10 for a little moment, but from P19, that's gonna be quite a long shot. But we're gonna try. Race number 3. You can see we've got the different camera on again. No visor cam. We got a proper cam, but a different camera on for race number 3. Here we go. And you can see, even though our engine is on, we're still getting pushed. And that's just because first gear is so long. If you have to drive away on your own power, the clutch will wear out so fast. So that's why everyone is getting pushed away. Again, new tires for race number 3. Second race of the day. This was Sunday. First race was at 8 o'clock in the morning. And the second race was 11 o'clock. So getting done here early. And let's see, we can actually see the leader starting this time. P19, and let's see, you can get a great start again. And we got a great run up to turn 1. You can see how close we are to number 43. And straight away we're past 4 or 5 people, and we're gonna send it down the inside here. Actually, we had to be a little bit careful. Number 37 covered us off nicely. And now we're gonna send it down the inside of the long right-hander again, gaining a position. And you can see further front, it's not that easy anymore to gain a lot of position. There's a little bit of moment there ahead of us. Into the hairpin we're gonna go. Managed to actually get a nice late apex there, but now we got the straight. And we're lacking a little bit. It gets so much worse if you get to the front. You can see the gap the car ahead already has. Yeah, I think we were actually P10 there for a moment. It's very tough to see exactly where you are. Yeah, let's see if we can hang on to this. That's gonna be so difficult. We're really pushing it here in the opening lap. And yeah, throughout the weekend, obviously, I got more and more towards the limit. You can see I'm having little corrections everywhere at this point. That just means we're at the limit of the tire. Obviously, it wears out the tire really, really fast, but never gonna have to use this set of tires anymore anyway, so who gives a shit. Just being clear on where the number 26 is gonna be able to pass. Again, just don't have the straight line speed, so losing a position there into the final corner. And this is frustrating because I felt like I could brake so much later there, but we just got a car ahead that as I'm actually ducking on the straight to reduce air resistance a little bit. A little bit DRS there. But yeah, again, through turn 1 you can see we're gaining, but yeah, we're just never going to be able to re-overtake this guy at due to the straight line speed. And I think someone's engine is blown up there. Make that 2. There's actually yellow flags. So at the moment, for a moment, I thought there was like yellow flags there, and there was a car standing still, but these guys didn't really seem to give a shit. So yeah, we lost 2 positions there. Make that 3. Yes, I think these guys were quite a bit faster anyway, so it's okay. We're never going to be able to keep those positions anyway, I think so. That number 37 I thought had broken down. Yeah, we've lost like 6-7 positions this lap alone. We gained all of those positions in the opening lap, and we were just out of position. We didn't have the pace to stay with these guys. We got a great run here out of the second last real corner. I think this number 37 had some kind of engine issues going on. It was slowing down, then accelerating again. So yeah, not sure what was going on with him, but you can see how much the cars ahead of him have gained to us. So yeah, let's hope number 37 ahead of us and can get going again, so we can follow him. 42.5, obviously not a great lap time, but we were kind of held up a little bit. Let's have a big moment in turn number 1. But yeah, we couldn't stick with him and eventually had to give up at that position again, as we got a kart down our inside there. Number 24, I think that is. A lot of English people competing in this. Yeah, I think that number 24 and 43, we have seen them last race as well. But you can see the acceleration there, it's ridiculous. So yeah, unfortunately, we weren't really capable of overtaking anyone this race. We kind of just gained a little handful of positions at the start. Got to P8, 9 or 10 or something. And then yeah, we lost them all again. Number 24 still ahead of us. We yeah, can't really do much because he's gaining once again so much on the start-finish straight. So we have to stick behind and see if we maybe can go for a move in the long right-hander if he's really slow through there, because that's kind of been our strong point, this long right-hander coming up, keeping a tight line, but he does as well. It goes wide on the second apex though, and that gives us the chance into the hairpin. I think he might have been in the wrong gear there, gotten a little bit confused. If you're not experienced in shifter cards or supercards, it's really easy to get confused with the gears, because you don't know what gear you're in. You've got it on your micron, but it's wrong 99.9% of the time. As you can see, mine is saying 6th gear, even though we are in 4th gear right now. So yeah, it's wrong most of the time. But yeah, I think we are in P16 right now. I think we're P8 at some point at the start of the race. As number 8 is ahead of us again. He was one of our teammates. And yeah, relatively fast as well. Again, I think this might be one of the last laps. Couldn't really keep up with him on the straights. And yeah, I had a lot of teammates. We had the MP Motorsport part, which had a lot of known people from MP Motorsport in the racing world, and then there was the MS Racing part, which had the people who always racing this. But The MP Motorsport part actually had some cool guests. We had Jeroen Blekemolen, who's a Daytona 24-hour winner. We had Jan Lammers, ex-Formula 1 driver. I think Jeroen Blekemolen, unfortunately, he was really unfortunate. I think every session he drove in, he had some kind of issue with the engine. I think once he had a tire explode, which is really scary on a track like this. Imagine getting a tire blowout in this corner, for example, going 220. We are still really pushing hard, trying to get to the number 8. But yeah, it was really, really cool having so many, you know, Dutch motorsport legends racing in the same team. I'm not sure where all of them finished. Jeroen Blekemolen DNF'd in the last race, I think so. Jan Lammers finished in P26 that race, and we're gonna come home in P16 at the end of this one. Now the question is, can we get past the number 8? We've been with him every single race. It's been really cool. But unfortunately, we cannot keep up on the straight again. So if we want to make a move, we're gonna have to do it somewhere in the corners. So the next right-hander we go. Carrying a lot of speed through there. You can see I'm really pushing it. Rear end wants to step out constantly. Through the next right-hander we go. A little bit of dirty air, of course. He has absolutely no one ahead of him. But yeah, this felt a little bit like F1 25, you know. You got dirty air, but then you don't gain anything. Actually, we lost on the straight whenever we were behind someone. Yeah, into the final corner we go for the final time. This was one of the sickest things I've ever done in my life, and probably the coolest thing I've ever raced. I've raced in Formula 4 and Formula Renault, but I think this tops it. This was so cool, and I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. It was actually a lot of fun driving in the midfield, and I think next year I'm going to do it again. Hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to like, subscribe. Thank you everyone for the 500,000 subscribers, and see you guys next time. Ciao.